TacoTuesday.com. Spilling the sauce. Tacos and more. Back with the stars. Toni and Corey. Spilling the sauce.
All right, guys, welcome back to another edition of the TacoTuesday.com podcast. Here we have Crawford once again. Thank you so much for coming on, man. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me back. Extremely happy to be back. We always have such a good time, and I'm looking forward to having a good time today.
And you're at the new studio, if you can't tell.
Yes, everything brand new, more space. We got ice machine in the back that luckily has been unplugged for recording. Yeah,
We have a
plenty of room
taco
for
kit,
activities.
chips and salsa, licor 43.
Or Liquor 43.
Tequila Herradura. Yeah, no, we're doing good. We're good. We're set up for a good time.
And we're ready to eat some taco.
So, lead in with a quick cheers, and then we'll get into the meat of the thing.
Did you guys know Snapchat has an AI now?
I heard that Snapchat has an AI, but I feel like I hear the word AI everywhere. And I mean, I think we were talking before the show that you guys wanted to play around with AI as it relates to Taco Tuesday and tacos and everything to do with it. So I want to hear exactly what you guys came up with.
Okay, well, that's actually a pretty fun topic. So, Chat GPT, right?
It's the first drink, we swear.
Yeah, just the beginning.
You said it right.
So yeah, we were just asking a bunch of random questions like the history of the tortilla. You know, when was the first taco? What were the first taco recipes? You know, how did tequila come about? And it came up with incredibly detailed, like wrote its own articles of answers for every question.
If we only had this back in high school.
Yeah, I would not have showed up for a single day of high school if I had this.
Just
No,
send
every
your-
English teacher just completely turned off the podcast. They're like, no.
One of them that stood out to me though was what was the largest margarita on record? What would you guess?
The
if you
largest margarita.
Yeah,
Like
if you had to
ounces
guess,
or, like-
just whatever metric you want to use. How big do you think?
And this is what Chat GPT pumped out. Largest margarita. I'm going with, I feel like somebody definitely has made like a hot tub worth of one. Like that seems like some Margaritaville type of stuff. And I don't put that past somebody. Now, do I think it's a good margarita? No. Am I now imagining that they would have been a hell of a thing to see that with a salt rim? Yes. But that's kind of the scale that I would not put that past. That's like that's some like Key West type of stuff. Like Spring Break Daytona type of thing. But I'm gonna go hot tub.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how many. I don't know a unit of measurement, but and hot tub.
Oh, this one's in gallons.
Okay, I'll say pool.
Pool.
Pool. Okay. So it's actually really kind of both of you were right. It is 10,500 gallons.
Wait,
And the only swimming pool that I know of is like 33,000
10,500 gallons of margarita.
of margarita. Yeah. The ingredients were, it actually wasn't a bad margarita.
how much bottles of tequila was that?
They used,
What do you mean it wasn't a bad margarita? That's like
no, like they used 2,000 gallons of tequila, 708 gallons of lime juice, and 198 gallons of Cointreau. I'd say it was a good margarita because I like Cointreau, but you know, I don't know what tequila they use for that.
Did the AI bot also happen to answer where this travesty occurred?
Yes, it happened in Vegas.
Oh,
Obviously.
obviously.
that would have been the next.
Dang it, Vegas.
I had $10 on Florida, but fair enough.
Yeah, that would have
right.
been a Florida thing to do. Jeez, where is it? It was what was the world's largest taco? That was really something.
The world's largest taco. Was it next to the margarita in Vegas?
No, so this was in Mexicali, Baja,
Okay.
California. If you had to guess, real quick, biggest taco in pounds.
Ooh, in pounds.
Yeah,
50.
50.
In pounds, I'm going to guess.
Is it more?
Oh my God, I have no idea.
It's more?
This is a ridiculous segue to go. I'm going to guess 200.
200. Close. 9,000.
Oh,
Not okay. First of all, not close. Okay,
That's
playing
not
fast
close.
and loose with the word "close."
I
right
need
there.
guacamole in my
It's
life.
like,
Sorry. That is not close.
okay, so 9,000 pound taco.
How did you eat that?
And it broke the Guinness World
Elaborate.
record. Okay, so
What-
I'm going to go
Dude,
with
you
it.
can't just drop that bomb and then just be like, "Oh yeah, no, that was it." No, I need we need to unpack this.
9,000 pounds. So anyways, what are you guys doing this afternoon?
I'm going to eat a 9,000 pound burrito or taco.
So it said that the taco was made with a giant tortilla that measured 35.9 meters, which is 118 feet long, and 3 meters or 10 feet wide. It was filled with a variety of ingredients, including grilled steak, onions, and cilantro.
I was gonna say, was it just filled with all the cows in
You
that
know,
area?
so
Like,
I mean, that's the like
carne.
so many
Everybody
cows.
gets carne.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Yeah, the cow population was lessened on this day.
That's an insane.
Wait, where was
amount.
this at?
in Mexicali, Baja California, Mexico.
Yeah.
After the taco was completed, it was cut into smaller pieces and served to festival attendees. Since then, other attempts have been made to break the record for the world's largest taco, but as of my knowledge, AI refers to itself as my, which is kind of crazy. Cut off in September of 2021, the 2003 Mexicali taco remains the largest on record,
That sounds like a fiesta.
which is not surprising.
I wonder if Crazy Reina was there.
So many follow-up questions. So does it say how long this took to build? As I sit here struggling to put together my own sipping
Building a
like,
little
4-inch
taco,
taco?
and
Yeah.
I'm struggling.
It does not say how long it took them to do this, but that's a good question. I'm going to have to follow up with it and see.
Chat GPT. We're going to get that, by the way, I swear. Captions on this are going to hate me. But that's wild. I just can't get over this, like the square footage of that. And I'm still hung up on the margarita. Because now I do want to know, was there salt on the rim?
I don't think there was salt on the rim, but they did put it into a glass. So they had a huge team of people getting all the ingredients together.
I mean, like
Pouring it into a glass.
I've been to Vegas pool parties, and I know what those pools turn into by the end of the day. Like a shower is not good enough, a power wash is not good enough. You basically just need to light yourself on fire and start over. But by the end of it, they turn into a weird kind of mixed drink.
Yeah,
So
you basically don't go in there.
yeah, I don't.
You sit at the cabana, you order a drink, and you look at people on the water, and you're like, "What the?"
I just imagine, like, I would kind of want to go sit in that drink. Like a hot tub. Just sit there and bathe and have tequila soaking.
And have a
boards like
straw.
this. Yeah, and have a bunch of straws around me to just kind of indulge in it.
You'd be the first person to black out by osmosis.
That would be a cool record to break.
What's
Somebody please remind me that that's a goal of mine in the future.
What's one of your favorite Taco Tuesday locations, Crawford? Or a fun one that you like to go to?
Fun ones. I mean, it kind of depends on what you're doing, right? Because Taco Tuesday, there's a couple ways to approach it. You're either, again, like we said, a lot of people do 9 to 5s, so they're kind of off of work. Maybe they just want that margarita to relax. Maybe they're hungry. Other people don't. Other people look at it as an opportunity to really go out. Excuse me, anybody who watched one of the previous shows where we were all at Red O over here in Orange County in Newport Beach, that turned into an after party. And that was awesome.
So fun.
That's a really fun one to go to. I mean, again, this show's based here in Orange County, California, so we have a great selection of tacos. When I'm aiming for tacos, I mean, some of the best can just be found on in the trucks up in Santa Ana, like on the street. There's a place down here in Orange County in a town called San Juan Capistrano that's called El Campeon. Which is
El Campeon?
Place is
It's so good.
phenomenal food. I'm all over the place. I like to go where my friends are too, because again, Taco Tuesday, it's a social thing.
Yeah.
Nobody is alone and nobody is sad on Taco Tuesday.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's kind of like a holiday around here.
but I want to
It's
know,
actually a national holiday.
do you guys remember where your first Taco Tuesday was? Where did you break the Taco Tuesday cherry?
Mine was at Flamingo's Mexican Bar and Grill in Laguna Hills.
Okay, yeah, old school place, been around here in Orange County for a minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
I grew up in that neighborhood that little plaza is in, so we used to walk up there and we'd go get tacos, and they would have margaritas, and I was a kid, so I didn't, but yeah, that was my first ever Taco Tuesday.
I was really hoping that was going to take a different direction. Like, they had margaritas and I was a kid, so yeah.
My parents are no longer allowed back.
I don't think I remember my first Taco Tuesday because I think the fiestas, parties I go to, family parties, always have tacos.
Yeah, that's
So that
true. I
was
mean, a lot of people's Taco Tuesdays, especially. I mean, I'm not from
think it's
California
always
originally.
easy.
Yeah, if it's like a backyard barbecue, those are some of the best.
And some of those taco carts have like the best food.
You can find some of the best meals just out on like the street. Like, God bless all the great restaurants that we have, other people in other cities have, but some of the best meals are just found on like back alley, like taco carts or things like that.
And those food trucks sometimes have like bigger line than a restaurant.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, the wait for a food truck?
And you get to experience that cool moment where you're standing out there. And this happened to me the first time I went to Mexico and I was eating just like street tacos and stuff like that. Is you have that cool moment where you're just standing around eating off like a plate like this, and you're just kind of having that moment of silence, and you're making eye contact with strangers, and maybe you don't even know each other, and you're just like, this is really awesome. How did we all find this? Let's nobody tell anybody. Yeah, here we are doing a podcast about it, so people are going to know.
Yeah. Well, they should.
They go to TacoTuesday.com.
That's true.
One of the coolest things I used to do when we'd go down to TJ, we'd like park at the Border Patrol station, walk across.
Yeah.
That I can't ever remember what the name of the street is. It's been years. But everybody takes a cab to that one street in TJ where they have like all the bars and clubs and whatever. And then we take a cab back to the border, and there's like a little taco stand. It used to be set up like maybe a block away from the border, and they would have the freshest, most delicious, dirt cheap tacos I've ever had. And it is a little bit awkward. You're sitting there, standing there, eating a taco, looking at people. Everyone's just standing around on the street.
But you're having that magical moment where you're like, this is awesome. And you're a good time is always a good time for a margarita, even if it comes out of a disgusting Vegas pool. But you're having that moment. You're like, I'm good. I don't need to sit. I don't need the restaurant. Like, I just need this, and I need more of them, as many as I can fit in my body right now. Like, whatever the physical limit is. So that's another one. What's your maximum amount of tacos you've ever eaten? Did you ask the AI that?
I asked the AI that.
And what did Skynet say?
I wanted to know how many tacos were too many. The universe, or whatever Chat GPT really is, wherever these answers came from, had this
Future
to say.
leaders.
The number of tacos that is considered too many depends on various factors, such as the individual's appetite, dietary restrictions, and personal preferences. Generally speaking, tacos can be a healthy and delicious food option. It kind of went on in that sort of fashion. I was really hoping it was just going to be a blunt, 7. Like, how many tacos is too many? It's going to be 9. Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing, but the fact
look, real quick side note just on AI in general. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of terrifying, all the things that it does.
It's terrifying.
But when you ask it a question like that, I need Marshawn Lynch at the Super Bowl level answers. I'm just here so I won't get fined. I need 6 words or less.
Yep.
You asked how many tacos is too many. I needed a hard number. I didn't need if you should consult your physician. And after that, it sounds like one of the end things of a medical commercial. Mm-hmm. When you say a commercial for a drug, it's please consult the physician before you do all these things. It may cause all this. But you're just tell me.
Yeah.
Just tell me. Is there a number in there somewhere?
No, there is no number. It's just, consult your physician.
Okay, so AI is not going to be our world leaders yet.
I mean, it's so trippy when you go on there and ask all these obscure questions. I asked it at one point if it could give me a high five, and it said, I am a whatever AI machine. I don't have any feelings or hands, but I can offer this to you, and it did a little high five emoji.
Oh,
that's almost creepier. For it to just be I don't have emotion, but here, let me try to give you something.
Right. Well, it refers to itself, as me or I. It's really wild that, it says within my knowledge.
Would you take AI out for Taco Tuesday?
No.
That was real quick. Didn't even have to think about it. He's like, no.
Terrifying.
Absolutely not. Terrifying.
Yeah. I always imagine that movie.
What sort of a taco would AI order?
They don't know.
God, I don't know. I don't know. I tried to come up with something clever, but I have no idea.
They definitely seem like they're just the traditional Taco Bell style, ground meat, American cheese, hard shell, and not the good hard shell, we all know what hard shell I'm talking about. Yeah, that just seems like their vibe. They probably don't drink either.
Have you seen?
Yeah, they don't seem like they do.
They've done songs with artists that haven't even sung that song, and the AI did it, and it sounds like the artist.
See,
it's crazy.
Good game, everybody. Just slap hands, hit the showers. That's it. We had a good run.
Now they could pretend they're you.
But that's crazy. I mean, that's it. You think about it in a world sense, the news that you see, or this AI could just say, oh yeah, this country just did this thing, and make it seem like it's a real, thing that happened, cause the whole world to panic.
I'm panicking right now because I'm imagining that what it said was true. Because again, first of all, the AI thing, you got to believe it, right? Whatever it says, it's trying to be true. And I fully believe the Vegas one. And I know I'm hung up on that margarita, but I just can't get away from it. And I'm imagining all the people just standing around it, watching that happen.
And did they all put a straw in the margarita?
I don't know. I wasn't invited, which is kind of nonsense.
Oh, that sounds like the end of when the cults are hey, now we're going to the spaceship.
All taking a sip at the same time with their straws and this giant chalice just filled with margarita.
I think I just made the perfect taco from Chelas and San Clemente.
Yes. Love them. Love their stuff. Actually just had their owner, Carla Vasquez, on my podcast. Literally.
Tell us a little about your podcast with Carla. How was that?
It was fantastic. So my podcast is for my brand called The Best Seats. Seats is spelled CEATS. And it's basically just, it's focused here in Orange County and kind of the surrounding Southern California areas. And it's basically just kind of everything in and around the hospitality industry. I've been wanting to have Carla on for a while. She's just such an awesome person. And hearing her talk about her restaurant basically kind of becoming another child for her, and what that process was like, raising a family while raising a restaurant, and not just kind of starting a restaurant, but being at it over 13 years, which in this industry is nothing to gawk at. So it was a great time. We sat down, and then there were tacos afterwards. We recorded early in the morning, so there were breakfast tacos, which I think are wildly underrated.
Absolutely.
Her breakfast tacos are actually good.
Yeah. And breakfast tacos, a lot of people, they're like, here's some tortilla, here's some egg. Here's like, no, they're like,
They're underrated
legit.
here, I
know.
think. Austin, Texas had a lot of breakfast tacos.
Austin, for anybody watching this has not been to Austin, go to Austin. I mean, prepare, but go to Austin because that town does not play around. Austin is a great place to go eat. It's a great place to go drink. Amazing music. July might be a little warm, but yeah, it's you're gonna have a fun time.
And if you don't know where to go, just go to TacoTuesday.com and type in Austin, and it'll show you exactly where to go.
100%. Austin's a great time. I would say, what are some other cities that you guys have been to or other places where you had great tacos, where maybe they took you by surprise, where you showed up and you were like, oh, okay, doing big things?
I think it was the what is that place?
Umbrella Taco in LA. Yeah.
So I mean, when you walk up to the place, there's so many shops.
No, Taco Co.
Taco Co.
And Umbrella's like next to the bar next door, right? But they're together.
Right, yeah. So essentially one side is like the restaurant where you walk in and you can buy your food, and they have these little like ready to drink cocktails that are really surprisingly delicious.
Nice.
Yeah. And then you walk immediately next door on the other side of the wall, and the whole bar is set up with like this old refurbished like barn wood. They had all this wood imported from like barns that were torn down from like the early 1900s. I mean, the aesthetic of the place was incredible.
So cool.
But the freaking food was delicious. I couldn't
It's an
believe
ambitious
how
thing
good
to
the food
say. I
was.
mean, LA taco game is no joke.
You have to try it.
Yeah.
It's on Melrose.
Nice.
We should all go.
My most surprising place was probably Denver, Colorado.
Denver?
Yep. Went to Denver, showed up. Shout out to that town. Anybody who's listening that's from there, that place is such a gem and it's so much fun. And yeah, was out and about one night, meeting up with a bunch of friends, and just a busy time. And we just found this late night taco spot, and he had like, again, it's one thing to have like, you have your carnitas, you have lengua, stuff like that. But he was like, oh yeah, this is deer. And he had all these like game ones, like Colorado game. He's like, oh, it's this Colorado lamb taco. And it was just like, when you're a little intoxicated and you have that bite of food at like 2 a.m. that just brings you back to life.
I do know that feeling.
That was it for me.
You get a taco or a chicken quesadilla. Oh.
It's like a warm hug
Yeah.
that
So
you didn't know you needed.
how does that work, with the wild game? Is that just hunters in the area will go and hunt it and sell the meat
Yeah,
to
how do you
grocery
get-
I
stores?
certainly hope so. It's a lot better than a Dodge Caravan just hitting one on the highway. So, yeah.
Score, we're having deer tacos, everybody. Hell yeah.
I mean, look, not that that's unheard of, but yeah, I'm sort of hoping that they source it a little more, not ethically, but slower, I guess we'll say.
Yeah.
How do you set up your podcast when you go to like the restaurants and stuff? And
So I set up, so my podcast is mobile. I don't do video at the moment, even though I'm like 100 some odd episodes in. I find that, people have a lot going on with their day, and a podcast like this, it makes perfect sense to have video. But for mine, it just doesn't. And I'm a one-man show, so I don't have a producer or anything like that. I basically connect with whoever it is, whether it's a chef, a beverage director, a distiller, a winemaker, and we go to a location. Sometimes it's somebody's house. Sometimes it's their distillery. Sometimes it's a restaurant in the middle of service. And always with the intent to never interrupt a customer's time or anything like that. But basically, it's all audio equipment, and we get set up, and we do about a 45-minute show. And then for anybody who subscribes to my Patreon, they get a bonus episode each and every week. And yeah, it's just candid and honest. And it's kind of think of a great interview with somebody in the hospitality industry, but without all kind of the fluff of a magazine or anything like that. People get to be themselves and be candid.
how did you come up with that idea?
I came up with the idea during COVID. So I also freelance write for a lot of publications out here in California, and then a couple like small national ones. And basically, when everything got shut down as a freelancer, nobody has advertising money, so you get shut down. I had friends texting me, and this was in the early days when like everything was changing every 24 hours, hey, this changed, we're shut down. We're not shut down. Good luck, figure it out. Friends were texting me being like, hey, can you help us spread the word? We're doing this. We're launching To Go Cocktails. We're doing meal kits. We're launching, the grocery store in the front of the restaurant. And I just thought it was a good way. I already had the equipment. I'd wanted to do it for a while. The first 20 episodes, if anybody wants to dig that far back, were all like over the phone due to social distancing. But at first it was just a way to help people spread the word on what they were doing. And then the more that the conversations evolved, it wasn't so much how is the restaurant doing, but how are you doing? How are you guys handling it? And now that obviously that's on the back burner and well in the rearview mirror, thank God. it's just continued. It's just the stories about people and what they do and why they do it and the passion behind it and the ups, the downs, the goods, the bads. I mean, not everything is milk and honey in this industry, and people get a candid place to do it and swear if they need to and cry if they want to. And we've talked about super heavy topics, from racial injustices that chefs have dealt with to, hey, why do I love making this gin? So it's not all heavy, but it's a happy and fun, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
You know, coming from like such a, I did at least 10 years in the restaurant industry before I came, onto this side of things. It's a brutal gig. Like, working in the restaurant business is no joke. It's surprisingly difficult to deal with some of the problems that come up.
I mean, again, we mentioned that I just had Carla on from Chelas, who made this food for us today, which, again, shout out to them. They rock. If anybody listening is in Orange County, go check them out in San Clemente. She has kids, and she has a restaurant, and she runs a family and a restaurant. And I asked her very candidly, how do you find that work-life balance? And she answered candidly. She said, you have to be okay with the fact that you're going to drop the ball sometimes, and you just have to accept that. That's an honest answer. I mean, and it's cool to kind of let people say that on a recording where it can be a little cathartic. Right. I've had people text me after shows and they're like, I did not think I was going to say that, and I'm glad I did. So it's fun. Yeah, and I'm very proud of what we have here in Orange County and the rest of Southern California. So if I can share it with anybody and get one more person into somebody's restaurant or buy their wine or drink their beer, that's a good day for me.
Yeah, that's a rad way to support people too.
What's the wildest taco you've ever had? Where it's like even pushing the definition of still being a taco, whether it was like an ingredient, maybe you'd never had an ingredient before, or a preparation or something like that. Was there ever a time they're like, this is our taco? And it could have been like the first time for me, again, white dude from like Colorado and the East Coast. First time I had lengua, instantly fell in love. And it was when I had just moved out here, like over a decade ago, and I just didn't have a lot of exposure to real authentic Mexican food in the places that I grew up. But first time I came out here and had a proper lengua taco, I was smitten, totally smitten. And it was a new experience for me, and it was awesome.
Yeah, my wildest taco wasn't quite as awesome. It was a caviar taco. And I don't like caviar.
I hate caviar.
I don't remember where it was, but I used to be a seafood salesman for a big seafood distribution company. And one of the people that I was trying to call on, doing sales calls, bring them samples all the time, the chef came in and said, hey, while you guys are here, try this taco. It's just like an idea that I'm working on, and it had caviar in it. And I don't remember what the other ingredients were, but that is really something.
Not gonna lie,
caviar taco.
I like caviar, and I can't remember if we talked about this on the first time that I was here on the podcast or not in the old studio, but you had me worried for a minute that it was just caviar in like a tortilla. And I'm like, first of all, you got to try a little harder. Second of all, that's even a lot. Yeah.
No, there were like vegetables and other things in there, but I mean, I took a bite.
There were accoutrements. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking this chef in the eyes like, like, how do I make this come out of my nose? I don't want to swallow this.
Like, I don't want to offend him, but oh no.
Yeah.
Matters are afoot.
Yeah, that was really something. Probably the weirdest taco I've had.
I don't think I've had a weird taco because I don't like try things that are like, if I don't see that it looks good, I'm like, oh no, I'll just stick to chicken.
Just stay the course, stay consistent. Yeah, that's fair.
That looks scary. No, you could try it first.
I will say this, the first time that because again, now that I've moved out here for a while, like a lot of my friends are either like first generation or like from Mexico. And the first time I went to a backyard barbecue and nobody told my butt which the hot salsa was.
Oh, geez.
Oh, to them it's never hot.
Mistakes were made. No. And I took one bite of this salsa, and my friend looked at me, who's a chef here in the area, and he looked at me and he went, you're going to have a bad time. And here's the worst part. It was delicious. And I went back for more, but I had a bad time.
Yeah,
which is not what you want to do on a Taco Tuesday.
There's no such thing as hot salsa to Mexican people. No. You could ask them, oh, that's mild.
And you're like, you can start a car with that. Like, I love Mexican culture. I love Mexican people to death. I love Mexican food. I love the history, the heritage. But damn, tone it down sometimes.
Yeah, have you ever had the El Yucateco hot sauce?
No. What is that?
I have not.
So, I mean, you can find it in pretty much any grocery store. It's like my go-to hot sauce, but I always use the red. Like, I don't know exactly what it is. I just know it's a red habanero hot sauce. And they have a green one that the label looks exactly the same. I didn't realize that there were 3 X's on the bottle, and it had a warning, like, do not. I think I put it on a sandwich.
Did it come with like a safety word?
No,
like,
there was nothing of the sort.
50 Shades of Hot Sauce?
Yeah, I felt like I was in an episode of Hot Ones, though. So I kept eating the sandwich. I'm like, wow, my internal temp, like my blood is warming. why am I getting so that was a mess. It probably took me 3 hours to fully recover. Then I didn't taste food for a couple days. So have you been all over the place? I mean,
I've done a fair amount of traveling. There's some places I haven't been to yet. I would love to go to Japan at some point. My heart currently lies in Ireland. I absolutely adore it. That's where I spent a lot of time, and yeah, I love that country. It's a lot of fun. I know everybody wants to be like, go to Italy and eat pasta. I'm like, go to Ireland and drink whiskey and wine. Some of the best gins I've ever had in my life are Irish gins. And again, just the nicest freaking people in the world. I love that country. And I had great tacos there.
Tacos?
Did you really?
I did. I had great tacos in Ireland. Not that anybody's in Dublin at the moment, probably watching this, but hey, eventually you will be. I do not remember the name of the place, but it was literally a family that had left Mexico. They'd spent like a couple months in New York, but they somehow found themselves in Ireland. And they were running this little taqueria in Dublin. And I was, because again, you go out drinking in Dublin. What's the late night thing? You go to the chip shop or something like that.
Right.
I was like, no, baby girl, tacos. Because I was there with my now wife. We went there for our honeymoon. And it was phenomenal, like just phenomenal. Because they were doing carne, but they were doing it with Irish cows, and specifically like dairy cows. So these cows that make like Kerrygold butter, they were then using to make these tacos, and it was just it was awesome. It was just phenomenal. It's that thing where at the end of the night, you could be with the person you like, you could be with the person you just met for that night. You're like, hey, we're gonna go home after this, but you have that taco. You're like, you know what? I'm good. I know we're on a tangent here because it's a Taco Tuesday podcast, but I will say this: a real Irish pub, there's nothing like it. Okay, we're not talking about like McGinty's in the middle of Midtown Manhattan. Like, we're not talking like that. We're talking like legit places. But yeah, right down the road from a pub that I spent most of my day and night in Dublin was Amazing Tacos. And it just goes to show these things are universal. They travel, the culture travels. People always bring their food with them. I mean, the best thing to do whenever you go to a city is find out where other cultures are. Like whatever neighborhood, because you're going to find the good food there.
Right.
And Mexican culture especially. First thing I do when I go to a new city, I ask around, I find the bartenders, I'm like, okay, where are the spots? Like, no, not those spots. Like, I want these spots. Like, where are the legit spots?
And it's always cool to see like a different countries or like a different region's take on a certain culture's food.
Yeah,
it's like when you go
100%.
all the way to Europe and you have Mexican food, it's so different than what you get here. It's like they put their spin. Like we went to Greece and I had a fajita.
Yeah. Even the
had,
different states in Mexico. I mean, again, we're fortunate in California that, it's especially like where we're sitting right now recording this, it's hour 45 to the border, maybe two if we had traffic. But like once you get into the different states, like Sonora, Oaxaca, like all the different flavors, it's awesome. Because again, I think a lot of people, especially who aren't fortunate to be here in California, maybe Arizona, Texas, that kind of, sit on those borders, it's very one note for a lot of people. But once you really dive in, like, Baja or, the Yucatan, like all the, like, cochinita pibil is one of my favorite dishes on the planet. And it's hard to find outside of places that do it or people that know how to cook it. And yeah, exploring those different regions is awesome. It's such a good feeling.
Right.
And it tastes so good.
Yeah, no, we're definitely lucky to live that close.
So suck it, Chat GPT, because you can't travel.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. This is so nice. So excited to see what y'all are going to do here. Can't wait for all the other guests that are going to come through here and just enjoy and, sharing the experience and keep this train rolling.
Right on. Yeah, we're always excited to have you in here. So thank you for coming and checking out the headquarters.
Head on over to TacoTuesday.com, scroll to the bottom, and join the newsletter.
100%. If anybody wants to find me and what I do, you can find me on Instagram at thebestseats, thebestseats.com. And again, CEATS is how you spell seats. But yeah, no, thank you guys for having me. I'm always more than happy to come on and shoot the shit and talk and eat tacos and drink good drinks and share exactly what Taco Tuesday is all about.
Right, man. Good to have you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, happy Taco Tuesday, everyone.
Happy Taco Tuesday. Whoop, whoop.
It's a party now, TacoTuesday.com.